Are you paying more for winter than for the freedom to live? In 2025, the rules have loosened. The doors have opened. There are countries granting permanent residency so easily that you might check your calendar 3 times just to be sure. No million-dollar investment, no language exam, no full-time residency requirement. The question isn't, is it possible, but rather, are you following the right process? Today's video is your folded map. The easiest countries to get permanent residency in 2025. You'll be surprised how simple it is. No vague promises, no confusing detours. Just doors already open. Some on sunny Caribbean shores, some beside Balkan lakes, others in the turquoise waters of the Indian Ocean, where procedures are as straight as painted lines and costs won't strangle your joy. You'll know exactly which door to knock on, what to pack in your folder of documents, and how your first month will feel when you lay down on a brand new bed. Think of this as the warm-up for a journey that doesn't require long goodbyes. Leaving winter behind, opening a window, and letting the warm breeze in. If you once thought easy residency was just a story for idle chatter, keep that coffee cup steady. Because right now, the story is about to become your plan. Dream it. Pack it. Go. Dominican Republic, paradise of ripe fruit and the sound of buenas. Stepping out of Santo Domingo Airport, 2 things hit you before the sun itself. The scent of ripe mangoes mixed with salty air, and the word buenas echoing from every doorway. Here, fruit isn't just sweet. It ripens at the very moment you walk by. And buenas isn't just a greeting. It's your ticket into a slower, warmer, and fuller life. The path to staying long-term is anything but winding. The legal entry is as straight as the malecón. Apply for the Visa de Residencia, RS, at the consulate. Valid 60 days, 1 entry. Land on the island, and within 30 days head to the DGM to switch it into a residency card. And if scheduling gets tight, you can request a short extension. If you have a pension, 500 month, pensionado, or passive income, 2,000 month, rentista, follow Law 171.007, prove your income, open a local account to receive funds, take a medical exam on site. Clean paperwork is usually approved smoothly. Plus, you get a one-time exemption from import taxes on household goods when relocating. The core documents are just a criminal background check, birth marriage certificate if you have dependents, and proof of income, all translated into Spanish and apostilled before you fly. From the first card, renewals afterward are fairly light as long as you keep the income flowing. And taxes follow the territorial system. Pensions paid from the U.S. are usually safe, while offshore investments may trigger obligations after some time in residence. Best to consult an advisor early to optimize. The most practical question is always money. To keep it simple, a single person in Santo Domingo typically spends around $1,600 a month. Moving outside the center to quieter areas, totals usually ease down to $900–1,300. A couple living moderately often lands in the $1,800–2,600 range. Housing is the biggest chunk, but still manageable. A bright 1-bedroom in the center rarely crosses the sigh-inducing line. Step away from a few tourist hotspots, and the square footage expands while rent shrinks. Air conditioning in the tropics is like sunscreen. Use it wisely, and it saves you. Leave it on 24/7 and the bill will speak up. But at night, the malecón breeze is cool enough to switch it off and let the waves be your fan. Fixed or mobile internet is tidy enough for FaceTime calls with your grandkids without turning into a robot. Cooking is a conversation with the fresh market. Walk into a colmado, chat for a couple of minutes, and your basket is already full of just-landed fish, mangoes, and avocados in season. On nights you want to change, a plate of hot food at a local Commodore costs about the same as an old movie ticket. Transportation? About the price of a cup of coffee in New York per month, thanks to ride-hailing and the simple habit of walking along the waterfront. Health is the airbag of your new life. You can buy an insurance plan to access a solid public-private hospital network. In major cities like Santo Domingo or Santiago, private clinics are clean, English-speaking doctors are fairly common, and public hospitals provide a good safety net for basic needs. All you need to do is bring translated medical records, choose a go-to clinic, and schedule regular checkups like haircut appointments. Medicine is almost like coffee shops. Walk a few blocks and you'll find a pharmacy. Once you become familiar, the pharmacist will remember which pills work best for you. On taxes, a technical point many ask about, the Dominican Republic mostly taxes income by source. Pensions from the U.S. are usually light, while international investments can trigger obligations after some time of residency. It's best to speak with a tax advisor early to optimize. As for safety, the golden rule is walk like a local. By day, strolling the Malecon is leisurely. By night, call a ride-hailing app instead of walking empty stretches. Don't flaunt jewelry, hold your phone firmly, and follow neighbors' advice on which areas to avoid. Choose a building with security, a backup generator, and a water tank. Since in the tropics, power or water sometimes take a nap, and those small tricks will keep hurricane season calm. What's interesting is that once you know the names of a few shopkeepers, recognize the building guard, and smile back with a buenas to your neighbors, the whole neighborhood becomes a soft shield. People watch out for each other, check in, and everyday life naturally feels safer. And then one day, you'll try living the compact life. You open an app, search for a big supermarket, type out a long shopping list. Walking past the corner, a colmado blasts merengue, and the smell of ripe mangoes hits you like someone just peeled one at the door. Just 5 minutes, you tell yourself. An hour later, you step out with your hands full of bags and a handwritten tab. In the U.S., everything has an app. Here, everything has a person. The shop owner slips 2 extra avocados into your hand. Take them, bring the money tomorrow. You freeze, as if receiving your first handwritten letter after decades of nothing but emails saying, "Your package has been delivered." That afternoon, you get a second surprise. You call a plumber to fix the faucet, set the appointment for 3 hours. By 3:15, no sign of him. You're about to call again when 2 neighbors knock on your door. One with a screwdriver, the other with a roll of tape. Why wait so long? Let's just fix it now. In the U.S., privacy is a white fence and a garage door. Here, the shared courtyard is an extended living room. Leaky faucet, flickering bulb, it's everyone's business. By 5 hours, the faucet stops leaking. By 5:10, a plate of crispy toaststones lands on your table. By 5:30, the colmado speaker blasts baseball, and the whole street cheers like it's the World Series. You glance at your step counter and laugh. 1 merengue tune and 2 rounds of domino count as cardio. Your heart isn't just healthy, it's starting to belong here. If you had to compare the Dominican Republic to a retirement home, it would be a house with a porch facing the sea, neighbors who leave their doors open, and house rules, the law, written clearly. Sometimes paperwork runs slower than the afternoon breeze, but every sunset touching the water is a confirmation. You came here to live fully, not just to survive. And because this is the paradise of ripe fruit and the sound of buenas, what will you do on your very first morning? Head to the market to buy fish for dinner, stop by the clinic to sign up for health insurance, or join a beginner's meringue class? Comment your little choice below. Let's see whether Team Waves, Team Fresh Food, or Team Music is in the lead. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can join me on the next journey to more easy-breathing destinations for your golden years. Untitled. 4. Mauritius. Paradise of warm winds and turquoise waters. Landing on this tiny island like a comma in the Indian Ocean, you hear the wind whispering through the sugarcane fields, the scent of vanilla mixed with sea salt, and water so turquoise it feels like someone spilled a bottle of blue ink onto the map. In the afternoon, Sega drums beat slowly on Flic-en-Flac Beach. Your shoulders loosen, your heartbeat slows, and a very American question pops up. Is living here long-term going to be complicated with paperwork, healthcare, costs, or safety? Good news. Mauritius's entry path is as straight as a stone seawall. If you're 50 or older, the retired non-citizen category allows long-term stay with proof of regular income transferred into Mauritius, generally around USD 1,500 per month or USD 18,000 per year, plus a small initial transfer when opening the file. No need to buy expensive property, no language requirement. You just need to prove clean, stable retirement or passive income. The paperwork is mostly a criminal record check, birth, marriage certificates, if you have dependents, and proof of income, translated into French or English, depending on the document, and legalized, apostilled. The online application process is fairly streamlined. If you don't want to count transfers, there's the real estate option. Own qualifying property starting from about USD $375,000 in approved projects, PDS, Smart City, IHS, and your residency right is tied to your ownership. Keep the house, keep the card. And after a few good years, several residency categories open the door to a 20-year permanent residency. Once you meet the total transfer investment threshold, so you can anchor your boat more peacefully. Now, the how much per month picture to visualize quickly. A single person living in urban areas, Port Louis, Beaubassin, Quatre-Bornes, usually spends around USD 1,900 month, including rent for a bright 1BR, downtown typically USD 400-700, outside the center USD 320-550, utilities, internet, transport, and a mix of home cooking and dining out. In the north, Grand Bay, Parabère, the paradise of cafes and beaches. The rental range is wider depending on location and amenities, so a total of USD 1,400-2,400 is reasonable. Couples keeping a moderate pace usually end up around USD 2,100-3,300 month. A small tip. In a sunny country, air conditioning is like sunscreen with a timer. Use it wisely, and your bill stays friendly. Leave it on all day, and the sun will leave its mark on your electric bill. Healthcare is where you can finally let out a sigh of relief. Public hospitals provide a solid backbone for basic needs. Alongside them are clean, fast private clinics and hospitals where appointments are easy to book. Most expats choose private insurance, local or international, to access the private system for surgeries or advanced diagnostics. English is widely used, and the medical staff is accustomed to working with international communities. All you need is to bring your translated medical history, pick a go-to facility, and set reminders for checkups the same way you'd schedule a water filter change. Medicines are easy to find. Pharmacies are everywhere. Once you're familiar with the neighborhood, the pharmacist will even remember which pills work best for you. On safety, Mauritius belongs to the Breathe Easy group of destinations. Ordinary precautions are enough. Call a taxi or app late at night instead of walking far along the beach. Don't flaunt valuables, keep your passport in a safe, and check cyclone season forecasts, November-April, to prepare a light go bag if needed. Locals are used to heavy weather. Many buildings have generators and backup water tanks. The interesting part? Once you know the vegetable seller's name, greet the building guard and smile with a bonjour, bonjour. The neighborhood turns into a soft shield. People recognize you, check in on you, and the sense of risk drops considerably. Taxes are the final strategic piece. The income tax framework is straightforward, paired with an environment free of capital gains tax and inheritance tax. VAT stands at 15%. For retirees living on foreign passive income, the picture is usually light, so long as you're not working locally. Still, it's wise to consult an accountant or tax lawyer early on, especially if you manage large overseas investments. And daily life? Picture a Monday morning. You hold a US-style list, big supermarket, items in order. But the tabaji, corner shop, next door, pulls you in with the smell of hot samosas and a bonjour, madame, sir. You ask where the mangoes are. The owner winks. This season, pineapples are sweeter. Want to try? You end up walking home with pineapples, a bit of a shard, island-style pickle, and a short chat about the rain shower. In the US, you order and receive. Here, you greet and get remembered. A small community turning newcomers into neighbors after just a few visits. In the US, retirement feels like a smooth SUV on the freeway. Fast, straight, every minute scheduled. In Mauritius, retirement is a convertible cruising along the lagoon. You slow down half a beat to hear the water lap, and in return, the sky opens twice as wide. And since this is the paradise of warm winds and turquoise waters, what would you choose for your very first morning? Diving the coral reef, strolling through a sugar and vanilla market, or sitting on the veranda learning to tap the Sega beat? Drop a little comment. Let's see if Team Ocean, Team Food, or Team Music is in the lead. 3. St. Kitts and Nevis, paradise of two-island sunsets and fast passports. Sunset here falls as if someone gently tilted an orange glass. The slopes of Mount Liamuiga glow red, waves ripple like handwritten lines. You stroll along the bay to the laughter of neighbors, and suddenly realize there are places that give you more than just a place to stay. They grant you citizenship in just a few months if you take the right path. In St. Kitts and Nevis, people don't just talk about residency, they say it outright. Skip PR, go straight to the passport. The familiar route is either contributing to the country's sustainable growth fund or buying government-approved real estate. In terms of clarity, few places are more straightforward. You choose your option, prepare your documents, go through a transparent screening process, background check, interview, biometrics, then wait a few months for a result that could change your mobility map for life. Current entry levels usually start at about $250,000 USD for the contribution option, and from $300,000 to $400,000 USD for real estate, plus due diligence and legal fees. In return, you receive a reputable Caribbean passport, with no long-term residence required before issuance, and a rare feeling. Paperwork no longer feels like a maze. Life flows as gently as the water between the two islands. To put it into a simple number, a single person in Basseterre or Charlestown usually spends about $2,600 to $2,300 USD month. For two people, a reasonable budget is $2,400 to $3,500 USD depending on apartment house rental. The heaviest expenses are housing, small island, limited supply, and imported food. But in return, the weather keeps electricity bills manageable if you befriend the breeze and use air conditioning wisely. On thrifty days, the local markets always beat the supermarkets. A grilled fish, fresh greens, and a few bananas, sweet as sunshine, are enough to make dinner both hearty and wallet-friendly. Healthcare in St. Kitts and Nevis is like a sturdy boat. Public hospitals handle routine cases reliably, while private clinics are compact and efficient for quick service. For complex cases, the Caribbean norm applies. You fly to Puerto Rico or Miami. That's why newcomers usually purchase international private insurance from the start, treating it as an airbag for their island journey. Safety is another big plus. Life is slow, communities are small, neighbors recognize each other, and the golden rule remains. Live like a local. Don't flaunt. Call a car at night instead of walking deserted stretches. Keep valuables in a safe. The common feeling is shoulders dropping half a beat. As for taxes, this island is like a neat picture frame. No personal income tax, no capital gains tax, and no inheritance tax. For those used to thick tax envelopes back in the US, that 0% feels like opening a window and letting in the breeze instead of running the air conditioner. Paperwork, which usually feels dry, turns poetic when you meet the right people. Picture this. One afternoon, you sign the final set of documents with your lawyer. Every stamp lined up neatly like rows of palms on the beach. By evening, you're at a small cafe looking out at Nevis Peak, sipping rum, listening to locals talk about the sugarcane harvest. The next day, you're touring a beachfront apartment. Morning sunlight pours in. Afternoon breezes sweep through. The agent says, "Here, the windows are your natural air conditioning." You smile, realizing it's true. In the US, we buy convenience with noise. Here, you buy it with peace, and with a process as clear as the sea. Of course, a small island comes with its borders. Goods sometimes arrive on a later ship. A tropical rainstorm might show up just as you're drying clothes. And the citizenship program, because it's so popular, may adjust periodically to meet international standards. But it's precisely that discipline that makes the passport in your hand so reliable. If I had to end with one practical question, on day one with your new passport, what would you do? Take a test flight to a visa-free destination, put down a deposit on an apartment facing the sunset, or host a small BBQ to meet your neighbors? Tell me in the comments. Let's see whether Team Fly Now, Team Stay Long, or Team Make Friends is leading on these two sunny islands. 2. North Macedonia, the paradise of blue lakes and the Balkan slow life. Imagine a morning in Ohrid, the lake surface as blue as a giant mirror, church bells ringing softly, and mountain breezes cool enough to make you forget about air conditioning. By noon, you're wandering through Skopje's old bazaar, cobblestones, Ottoman arches, and a small cafe serving espresso so strong it jolts your memory awake. This is North Macedonia, a corner of Europe that doesn't show off, affordable in an honest way, and just right for Americans who want to live slowly without giving up essential conveniences. The legal path is as tidy as a checklist. Rent a valid home, prove sufficient income from abroad, apply for a 1-year temporary residence card, and renew it regularly. Keep a steady rhythm for 5 consecutive years, and the door to permanent residency opens. No language tests, no heavy residency requirements like check-ins every week. You just need to actually live here, get your stamps on time, and let the paperwork speak for you. Rental contract, insurance, bank account, a few utility bills. Everything is surprisingly straightforward. It feels like you're allowed to slow down, but still stay in the right lane. Your wallet? Breathing easy. A single person in Skopje can live neatly on about $900–1,300 a month with a clean 1-bedroom, a mix of eating out and cooking, and buses or ride-hailing when needed. Two people usually spend around $400 to $2,000 depending on neighborhood and dining habits. In Ohrid, costs dip even lower. In exchange for a lively tourist season and a quiet winter, perfect for those who love water as calm as glass. Pro tip: rent in local neighborhoods, buy fresh produce at morning markets, and keep a few American comfort foods in the pantry to ease homesickness. The biggest difference between in the US and here is pace. In the US, schedules are packed so tightly you need an app to find a free hour. In Skopje, you can stand a little longer at a wooden window, watching a carpenter carve tiny puppets, and realize there's really no rush. In the US, dinner is a takeout box ordered with one tap. In Ohrid, dinner is grilled fish eaten slowly, local wine poured just right, and conversations that last until the streetlights flicker on. If you want a quick definition, North Macedonia is the low step into Europe. The paperwork won't drain you. The costs won't leave you gasping. The healthcare is reliable enough. The safety enough to make you smile. And the reward? A green lake morning, a cobblestone cafe noon, an old town evening, quiet as a page in a book. On your first morning in the paradise of blue lakes and slow Balkan living, what would you choose? A lakeside walk in Ohrid, snapping photos in the old bazaar, or sitting in a small cafe, writing a few lines in your journal? Comment with your choice. 1. Belize, paradise of coral reefs and hello in English. You land in Belize and everything feels easy breathing right at the border. English is the official language, and the Caribbean pace is slow enough for you to hear the waves behind the thin layer of paperwork. The path to permanent residency, PR, here is as straight as a painted line. Americans can enter visa-free for a short stay, then extend the stamp each month to maintain 12 consecutive months of residence, with limited exits. After the first year, you submit your PR application. Clean record, health check, proof of minimum finances, no house purchase required, no language test. Want the fast track? The QRP, Qualified Retired Persons Program, is for those 45 plus with income from outside Belize of around USD 2,000 month. You receive a special residence card with duty-free import of one car, household goods, even a boat when relocating. QRP isn't full PR yet, but it renews easily. Perfect for people who like to stay a lot, travel a lot. Cost of living is easy to picture. One person in Corozal, Plasencia, or Cayaculcar spends about USD 1,100-1,600 month. A couple about USD 1,800-2,500 depending on rent and AC habits. Taxes are territorial. Income earned outside Belize is generally not taxed. A sweet deal for pensions or passive income from the U.S. healthcare. Routine visits at private clinics, local hospitals. For complex cases, residents often bridge to Chetumal, Mexico. Close and affordable. Safety, expat towns, Corozal, San Ignacio, Plasencia, Cayaculcar, are friendly. In Belize City, avoid late nights, don't flaunt valuables, use ride-hailing. Why is Belize so appealing? The world's second longest barrier reef is your backyard. Transparent paperwork, friendly tax rules, and English as a comfort. On your first morning in this reef paradise, what will you do? House hunt, stop by immigration to lock in PRQRP, or kayak across emerald waters. Comment your choice. And if this was useful, don't forget to like and subscribe right now. We've just gone through the easiest breathing coordinates for 2025. The warm wind Caribbean, the emerald waters of the Indian Ocean, the cloud forests of Central America, and the blue lakes of the Balkans. Each place has its own character, but the common denominator is clear. a transparent legal pathway to residency, affordable living costs, and healthcare on daily life secure enough for you to slow down without giving up comfort. Next step, pick a place that fits your taste. Double-check the latest regulations, prepare a neat file of documents, and leave the rest to the sun, the wind, and friendly neighbors. Which country are you leaning toward? Do you want me to make a 90-day checklist or a 1-month cost sheet for the destination that gets the most votes? Comment below to let me know. If you found this useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit so you don't miss the next episode about the lightest entry doors to a brand new life.